Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Nick Eden. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for tuning in today, and welcome to the second episode of Morning Cup of Merch. So, guys, I was having a discussion last night with a friend of mine about advertising, and they brought up some good points, even though I disagree with them. They brought up some good points about advertising on Amazon in general, whether you're doing merchant fulfilled, whether you're doing FBA or merch. They were saying that, you know, if you're going to do advertising and drive traffic to your listings, particularly with print on demand, that you should probably just do it on another platform where you get a higher percentage. And so I somewhat agreed with his logic. I think you need to do that too. And I say that being a person who started off in print on demand with Teespring. So when I started off, I was doing all Facebook advertising. That's just what you did for that platform at the time. I think they've gotten a lot more, and they still do Facebook a lot, but they've gotten a lot more into Instagram and Pinterest and other forms of advertising. But you do drive traffic. And I mean, it makes sense when you look at a t-shirt on Teespring that's $19.99. You're going to get about an $11.70 royalty on it. So yeah, I get that, as opposed to the $5.28 royalty that you would get on merch. Here's the thing though. While yes, merch in terms of organic traffic has gone down over the years, as the space has gotten more competitive, let's put it that way. It's still got crazy organic traffic, but the space in terms of people getting into merch by Amazon and selling t-shirts has gotten a lot more competitive over the last couple of years. It is still fundamentally important for you to drive traffic. Here's the reason. If at this point, unless you have found some completely underserved, in-demand niche, you're going to have to advertise to get in front. If you're like, look, I want to do Easter, and I want to do Mother's Day, and I want to do Father's Day, and I want to do all of these big holidays and these big trends that everybody else knows about and will be designing for, then you have to be competitive and you have to advertise. And I think that's the part that everybody is missing. So what does that mean? That means, quite frankly, I'd rather do AMS and a platform where it already has organic traffic, so I'm doubling the chances of somebody looking, as opposed to me putting a shirt up on Teespring, which they have the boosted marketplace, but it still doesn't compare to Amazon. And I love Teespring. This isn't a bash Teespring post. But I have a better chance of converting on Amazon. Let's be honest. The majority of people are selling on Amazon. You might not like your numbers, but you're selling in some form or fashion. I know people who've been on Teespring for a couple of years now and haven't sold one single shirt, or they may have sold one or two when they first started and haven't sold anything since. That's very much so a real possibility with other marketplaces. You should still upload to other marketplaces, but it's still a very real possibility that you won't see any sales at all. So yeah, let's be real. We're selling with Amazon. You might not be selling what you want to sell with Amazon, but you're still selling, whether you're advertising or not. What I would say is, and the second point to that, it's a lot cheaper to advertise with AMS than it would be to advertise on Facebook. You could get a decent campaign going. You know, everybody has their things. For me, I've always done a $5 daily budget for AMS with depending on the niche, 15 to 26 cent bid. I know Zach Knickerbocker, he talks about how he only does a dollar budget per day with a 24 or 25 cent bid. I'd have to look at the video again. So everybody has their own things. Even with that, that is less, much less than you would with Facebook advertising. Much less than you would spend. because I burn through $100 in a day on Facebook advertising. I have. And I know people that have burned through a lot more. I knew a guy who was burning through about $500 a day. Now, he was converting a lot better than me, obviously, but it was still taking, a significant chunk of money up front. So it's definitely worth it when it comes to AMS, when it comes to, if you're on the Seller Central side, pay-per-click, whatever the case may be. But study it. Because the one thing about it, with merch, with your organic, and this is, if there's no other reason, and RJ put this the best, if there's no other reason why you should advertise with AMS, you're getting data that we don't get if we are just doing organic sales on merch. You have no clue what keyword pinged for that search term. You have no clue what that customer was looking for. You get that with AMS. And I'm sorry, for $1 to $5 a day budget, I think it's worth it. So we are in that space now where merch has become so competitive that in order to stand out, you do need to advertise. Now, I will agree with my friend from the standpoint of putting your stuff on other platforms or your own Shopify or WooCommerce or free web store or whatever account and driving traffic there. I personally believe that you need to do both. But I do think that a lot of people have to be real and honest enough with themselves to know that, I'm not the best at this just yet. Because let's be honest, a lot of people suck at customer service, the follow-up, the things that will make, cheap plug for the book that's coming, word of mouth, your reputation management. And a lot of people aren't ready for that step yet. And that's okay. I get it. But driving that traffic, building that list on other platforms is an amazing thing. You should definitely do it. But don't sleep on the fact that Amazon is still one of, if not the most trusted retailers in the world today. So what you're fighting on another conversion, if somebody sees your shirt on Facebook and they like the shirt and they click the shirt and they get sent to your Shopify store, and your Shopify store doesn't look necessarily professional. It's got a janky URL. The graphics on it are subpar. And then they want to see where it says checkout. It's not just about them buying the shirt. It's about them saying, okay, I'm going to reach into my wallet or my purse, whatever the case may be, and I'm going to pull out my credit card, and I'm going to give you my financial information. Those are the types of things that you have to worry about. Like, okay, prime example, Etsy. Etsy has their customer base that loves, respects, and trusts Etsy. Amazon has its customer base that loves and respects and trusts Amazon. Who does your Shopify store have? You've got to build that trust. Now, you have some people who will do the impulse buy, but that's a constant battle. Okay, is this, like my mother? My mother does this all the time. She'll call me and she'll say, hey, is this a trusting site? I'm gonna buy this. Is this a trusting site? Can you check this out? More often than not, it is. But there's still always that hesitation. With Amazon, if somebody is actively looking on Amazon, you can believe that they already trust Amazon enough to take out their debit card or credit card and go ahead and swipe or check out. So that's just something to think about. I think that everyone at this point should really seriously consider doing advertising with AMS or if you're going to do Pinterest or whatever the case may be. What I would tell you ahead of time is go ahead and make sure that you are studying these platforms and learning everything that you need to learn about them. Guys, if you're already in merch, I think the replay of the AMS for the UK webinar is still up. Go check that out. Learn about the platforms, because I do think that it is a situation where a lot of people will get into the platforms and they'll say, okay, I'm going to do some advertising. And they just say, okay, cool. Well, if I do a $20 budget per day, and just make my bid $1.50, I'll outbid everyone. And you'll also go broke, especially with, fundamentally, Ken Real said this best: if your design sucks, advertising won't matter. But you got to even get to that point. And I wouldn't suggest that anyone who's just starting out with advertising blow that much money because you don't understand it yet. Start small, get the data. Everybody stop being in a rush. Look, shirts will go viral. I get that everybody wants a touchdown when you put a shirt up. Concentrate on getting the first down. Go 10 yards at a time. And eventually you'll get there. But along the way, you're going to learn. You're going to learn your data. You're going to learn and be able to try out different niches that you had not tried out before and get data on those niches that you can then apply to your future designs and have even more success. This is not a race. Stop worrying about what somebody in the Facebook group is putting up in terms of their numbers. Worry about your numbers. If you don't, if it's like, oh, well, I started doing merch so I can make some extra money, this is a long game project. So if you just need to make some money right now, get on your phone and sign up for Uber or sign up for Instacart or sign up for Shipt or something like that where you can make some money immediately. But this you need to be strategic about as a business because it can be extremely lucrative. Extremely lucrative. But you've got to put in the work and you have to learn how to analyze the data that you get. At the end of the day, the data is not going to lie to you. Now, if it's a situation where it comes out that later on is a bunch of fraud, then yes, the data lied. But in most situations, the data is not going to lie to you. That's really all I have for today, guys. Take care, and I will talk to you tomorrow.